Hello, my name's Vicky. We're gonna look at a book. Shall we look? We're gonna read The Smartest Giant in Town. Let's have a look. George was a giant. He was the scruffiest giant in town. He always wore the same pair of brown sandals and the same old patched up gown. I wish I wasn't the scruffiest giant in town, he said sadly. George is sad, look. Can you see? He's very upset. Here's our George. Say hello to George. Say hi, George. He's coming to the camera to say hello. Hi. Hi. One day, George noticed a new shop. It was full of clothes, so he bought a smart shirt, a smart pair of trousers, a smart belt, a smart tie, some smart socks with diamonds on the side, and a smart pair of shiny shoes. Now I'm the smartest giant in town, he said proudly. He's happy. He's happy now. He's got a smile. Can you see his smile? Can I see your smile? Here's Vicky's. Where's yours? Where's your smile? George left his old clothes behind in the shop. He was about to go home when he heard a sound. On the pavement stood a giraffe. What's the matter? Asked George. It's my neck, said the giraffe. It's so very long and so very cold. I wish I had a long warm scarf. Where's our giraffe? Let me find him. He's here. Here he is. Here's our giraffe. Here he is. Say hi. Hi, giraffe. And can you see his long neck? It must be very cold being that long. Really long, isn't it? See what George does, shall we? Shall we see what he does to help? Cheer up, said George as he took off his tie. It didn't match my socks anyway, he said as he wound it around and around the giraffe's neck. It made a wonderful scarf. Thank you, said the giraffe. George strolled towards home and he sung to himself. My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, but look me up and down. I'm the smartest giant in town. There he is. He's happy. He's happy. George came to a boat. On the boat stood a goat who was bleating loudly. What's the matter? Asked George. It's my sail, said the goat. It's blown away in the storm. I wish I had a nice, strong sail for my boat. Cheer up, said George as he took off his new shirt. It kept coming untucked anyway, he said as he tied it to the mast of the goat's boat. It made a magnificent sail. Thank you, said the goat. Where's our goat? Where? Shall we find our goat? Is he here? Here he is. Here's our little goat. Here he is. He's coming. He's coming to say hello. 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 Let's go. Should we put him back? George strolled on singing to himself. My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt on the boat for a sail for a goat. But look me up and down. I'm the smartest giant in town. George came to a tiny ruined house. Beside the house stood a mouse with lots of baby mice. What's the matter? Asked George. It's my house, squeaked the mouse. It's burned down and now I have nowhere to live. I wish I had a new house. Cheer up, said George as he took off one of his shiny shoes. It was giving me blisters anyway, he said as the mouse and her baby mouse scrambled inside. The shoe made a perfect home. Thank you, they squeaked. Where's our mouse? Here's our little mouse. Here he is. She, it's a girl, isn't it? Here she is. It's a mummy. It's a mummy mouse with all her babies. She's coming right up close to say hello. Hi. She's going to run back again. There she goes. There she goes. She's very excited to see you guys. She is. and she's happy because she has got a nice new shoe house. George had to hop along the road now, but he didn't mind. As he hopped, he sang to himself. My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt on a boat for a sail for a goat. My shoe is a house for a little white mouse. But look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town. George came to a campsite. Beside the tent stood a fox who was crying. What's the matter? Asked George. It's my sleeping bag, said the fox. I dropped it in a puddle. I wish I had a dry sleeping bag. Oh, he was very sad as well, wasn't he, the fox? Cheer up, said George, as he took off one of his socks with diamonds on the side. It was tickling my toes anyway, he said as the fox snuggled into it. It made a fine sleeping bag. Thank you, said the fox. Where's our fox? Here he is. He's coming. Here he is. He was in a sock, wasn't he, for his sleeping bag. He says, hi. He's waving. He's waving at you. Hi. He's very happy now. He's got his sock. George hopped along singing to himself. My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. My shoe is a house for a little white mouse. One of my socks is a bed for a fox. But look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town. There he is. You think he still looks smart? He's got no shirt, no sock and no shoe. He's still happy though. George came to a big squishy bog. Beside the bog stood a dog who was howling. Ow, ow. What's the matter? Asked George. It's this bog, said the dog. I need to get across, but I keep getting stuck in the mud. I wish there was a safe, dry path. Cheer up, said George as he took off his smart new belt. It was squishing my tummy anyway, he said as he laid it down over the bog. It made an excellent path. Thank you, said the dog. Where's our dog? Where is he? He looks very much like our fox, doesn't he? There he is. I couldn't see him then. He was hiding. He was hiding. Where's his eyes? Can you see his eyes there? Oh, there they are. He's coming. He's coming to smell. He's very excited too. We couldn't find him for a minute, could we? We couldn't find our little dog. He's just sniffing around. That's what doggies do, don't they? They sniff. The wind started to blow. George didn't mind. He hopped along and sang to himself. My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat for a sail for a goat. My shoe is a house for a little white mouse. And one of my socks is a bed for a box. But help! My trousers are falling down. I'm the coldest giant in town. Suddenly, George felt sad and shivery and not at all smart. He stood on one foot and thought, I have to go back to the shop to get some new clothes. He turned around and hopped all the way back to the shop. Poor George. But when he got there, it was closed. Oh no, said George. He sank down onto the doorstep and a tear ran down his nose. He's crying. He's crying. He felt as sad as all the animals that he had met on his way. Then out the corner of his eye, he saw a bag with something familiar poking out the top. My gown, yelled George. My dear old gown and sandals. George put them on. He felt wonderfully comfortable. I'm the coziest giant in town, he said proudly. And he danced back along the road. Here's our George. Should we get him to do a little dance? He's dancing, dancing, because he's so happy. He's dancing along the road. Ooh, dropped one. Outside the front door, all the animals he had were helped with carrying an enormous present. Come on, George, they said, open it. George untied the ribbon and inside was a beautiful gold paper crown and card. Look inside the card, George, said the animals. George put the crown on his head and opened the card. Inside, the card said, your tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. Your shirt is on a boat as a sail for a goat. Your shoe is a house for a little white mouse. And one of your socks is a bed for a fox. Your belt helped a dog who was crossing a bog. So here is a very fine crown to go with your sandals and gown to the kindest giant in town. That's it. It's finished. It's finished. Thank you. Bye. Bye.